Hello and welcome to another Crusader Kings 3 developer diary. This time my favourite number 21. We're talking about custom faiths and pagan reformations. In the last dev diary we learned all about how the faiths and the doctrines and all that kind of stuff worked. So now we're going to be looking at custom faiths. Let's get into it. Hello there. Interested in becoming a heresiarch? Like the patriarch of a heresy or a matriarch of a heresy. Okay, I get it. Or maybe you just want to organize your ancestors' ancient spiritual traditions into a true reformed faith, one that can stand up to the crescent and cross. Either way, you've come to the right place. To start us off, I'm going to go into how the process of creating a new faith or reforming a pagan one works. After that, there will be a teaser for some tenets and doctrines that you may be interested in picking for your newly founded faiths. So, creating a new faith is no easy task. Only the most pious rulers will be able to convince the clergy within their realm that they alone know the true will of the divine, and in doing so take the first steps towards establishing a new faith. However, with a little bit of devotion and a lot of time, you too will be able to reshape your faith to suit your dynasty's needs. When looking at your own faith's tenets and doctrines, you'll see a button at the bottom labelled Create New Faith. Clicking this button will open the Faith Creation window, which can be viewed at any time, even long before you've acquired the means to actually create a new faith. This will allow you to play around with the different options and get a feel for what's possible, allowing you to set long-term goals for yourself. That's interesting that you're able to, have a look through everything long before you're able to do it. It's very, very noob-friendly, very, very new player-friendly in that way, I think. So this is the new faith window. You can choose your tenets, you can choose your doctrines, marriage doctrines, monogamous, legitimization is fine for bastardry, divorce is allowed, church holdings, got the head of the faith, realm adoption, only 5 of 47 vassals will convert. My old faith will consider you hostile, naturally. And it's gonna cost you a lot of... That's fervor, if I remember correctly. Or it might just be piety, and I'm mixing up the different things. The sins and virtues for this is... What's that? Lustful, and we've got gluttonous, greedy... Don't remember. That's cannibalism, is a virtue. Chastity to virtue. So we've got cannibalism as a virtue, but gluttony is a sin. Also, I think it's a little bit weird that sins are on the left and virtues on the right. I don't know, I just feel like that should be the other way around. Either way, doesn't matter. Let's move on. You can change every single tenet and doctrine for your hypothetical new faith on this screen, though the list of what tenets are available to pick varies from religion to religion. For example, tenets based on the concept of Dharma are exclusive to Oriental religions, whereas monasticism was common practice and is thus available to everyone. This means when you create a new faith, you must first ensure you're a member of the religion that you want to base your new faith off of. Beyond simple availability, it's also easier for some religions to accept certain doctrines than others. For example, Islam is used to polyamory, that's having multiple wives, and will happily accept new faith espousing it. In contrast, a new Christian faith that claims God intended us to have multiple spouses, multiple wives, multiple spouses, so women having multiple husbands as well, will be met with a little more skepticism. Skepticism, not really the right word. I think it's more outright hostility, but okay. The way this plays out in CK3 is that each tenet and doctrine has a piety cost associated with it. The further you deviate from your original faith, the more piety you'll need in order to convince the priest that yes, you actually have had a vision from the divine, and yes, you actually are enforcing their will and not just trying to make some weird personal sex cult. And this, I guess, is for the consanguinity, to see how close you can marry. Close kin is taboo, cousin marriage is fine. Avuncu, this one, and unrestricted marriage is extremely expensive. Okay. After you've made all the changes you want, you'll be given the total amount of piety your character needs in order to create their new faith. This cost can get quite high, meaning that creating a new faith or reforming a pagan one ends up being a lifelong goal for most characters. It's highly recommended to attempt this with characters who have a learning education or who have multiple virtuous personality traits, and having the ability to go on frequent pilgrimages or donate gold and troops to holy causes helps too. Finally, timing your divine revelation to completely coincidentally occur when your faith is suffering from low fervor will make it much easier to get everyone to buy into your new canon. I'll talk more about fervor in a future dev diary on heresy outbreaks. So yeah, I was right, this is fervor. What I would say, actually, just thinking about it, is that I think some of these things should cost... They shouldn't just have a cost depending on how weird they are, or how close to kin taboo shouldn't always be 150 fervor. It should all be a price depending on how close it is to your current religion. So if your new faith, say Catholicism has cousin marriages. I think, I don't know, say it does. And you want to reform a faith, or you want to create a new faith, and you're coming from Catholicism, and you want cousin marriages, well, as that's identical to the faith you're coming from, surely this cost should be severely reduced. And just looking at these prices being, 150, 300, 450, 675, they're all very, round numbers. I don't think that's applying here, and maybe it would be a bit better if it did. Once you are happy with your tenets and doctrines and have accumulated the necessary amount of piety, you can officially convert to your new faith. You and your capital county will adopt it immediately, but won't be easy for a ruler to convince their vassals and subjects to adopt this strange new faith. They might be more inclined to stage an uprising and depose their mad king from the throne. After all, if you die before your new faith gains a foothold in the world, there's a good chance your faith will die with you. Very nice. Okay. Pagan faiths in Crusader Kings 3 start out with a special unreformed doctrine. This doctrine grants notable bonuses to tribal rulers early on, but locks them into the tribal government type and provides substantial opinion penalties to any non-tribal vassals they acquire. Since tribal realms are notoriously unstable, successful chieftains will eventually want to look into either converting to a reformed religion so they can feudalize, or reforming their pagan religion to a true organized faith. Like with faith creation, rulers must earn a substantial amount of piety to organize their faith's disparate shamans into a coherent clergy. In addition, they must have at least 3 of their faith's holy sites located within their realm. Alright, that seems relatively similar to the way it works in CK2 then. Lots of things on holy sites again. I'm not sure I really like the holy site mechanic, but it's fine. Once you accomplish this, the process is quite similar to creating a new faith of an existing reformed religion. Your vassals may still be reluctant to convert to your newly reformed faith, but because of reformed faiths gain a bonus to conversion against unreformed faiths, you will have a much easier time convincing them to go along with your reformation than an heresiarch within an existing faith would have making a new heresy. Which is a damn shame. Not that it's a shame that it happens in game, but it's a shame that it happens in real life. It'd be really kind of neat to have, a variety of religions within... I mean, I'm European, so I guess within Europe. Like, it'd be pretty cool if the Norse faith was still, alive and well and kicking, and they just rejected Christianity. I don't know. Suppose I'm going to get a dislike for that. Oh well, whatever. So we have the Vitalist reformation. At long last, I've managed to gather every important Vaidili in the world together so they can discuss our beliefs and establish an official doctrine to guide our faith into the future. These Vitalist Vadelios are encouraging cooperation and tolerance, even towards non-believers, and many ancient superstitions and mythical stories have been canonized in the official doctrine. I've chosen personally to lead this burgeoning Vitalist movement, and I've assumed the title of Krive, an exalted position I will pass down to my descendants. I have no idea what religion that is. Vitalist? I have no clue. I have absolutely no clue. To finish this off, here are a few choice tenets and doctrines which you can pick when creating a new faith in CK3. Many of these are also used by existing faiths, but some are only available to custom faiths created by players. As you can see, there's a lot of variety in the kinds of custom faiths you can create. Ultimately, every type of playstyle should have some set of tenets and doctrines to support it. So we have Warmonger, Fundamentalist, human sacrifice, ritual cannibalism. That's going to be a favorite, I'm sure. We got dharmic pacifism, pluralism, Christian syncretism. Interesting. Syncretizing with other faiths as a Christian. That's interesting. Yeah. Got carnal exaltation. Yeah, that's also going to be a pretty fun one. Question marks. I think those question marks are, well, we know why. Chaste is a sin, of course. We've got divine marriage. Yeah, that's pretty nice as well, sure. And Kudicis lemti. Mothers are less likely to die in childbirth, but that's good. Plus 10% fertility. Nice, I like it. Syncretism, dharmic pacifism, lovely, all that kind of good stuff. I like it. That's all I have for you this week, but join us next time as my colleague Heptopus. I don't know why I have trouble saying that name. Heptopus talks about the diversity across the world in CK3 and many different ways you can tailor the game experience to match your personal preferences. I wonder what kind of diversity he's talking about. We'll find out next week. But first, let's go into the forums where we can see if there are any dev comments. And there are. It's funny. I already knew that because I opened this before. Anyway, whatever. Looks good. Where would the holy sites be located for newly created faiths? Holy sites will be inherited from their parent faith. That's a disappointment, actually. Not quite a fan of that one, but, well, whatever. Like, if you create a faith that's radically different, it's a new faith, maybe you should be able to, choose some holy sites. And I don't know, might be nice. You can decide the name of your new faith yourself. I love this very much. Is that for schismatics, or can pagan reformers also do the same? For the schismatics, you must name your new faith. That is when you're creating a new schism of a heresy. Pagans have the option of picking a new name or keeping the old one. As in CK2, the old faith will be called Old Your Name. Okay, fair enough. Will there be any in-game rules to disable or limit some of these features as to have a more historical accurate playthrough? The AI does not use this feature and will only spawn historical heresies like Lollardy and Waldensianism. Only players can form historically inaccurate heresies. I like that. That's good. I do like it when the AI sticks relatively close to history and they're not creating fucking crazy shit, because looking at how modular this system is, if the AI was allowed to touch it, it would create some fucking weird garbage. What will be the benefits of a non-temporal head, considering it's created after only controlling 2 holy sites? Should bring nice things. As a temporal head, you can direct your faith's great holy wars, choosing both the target and personally keeping all the land after the war. Spiritual heads cannot be played by players, but will launch undirected great holy wars and can grant gold and claims to pious followers. Very nice. I think I'd prefer to be the temporal head. More control is always better. Can pagan religions be reformed multiple times? Someone reforms at first, but I did not convert and later create my own reformed version. That'd be interesting. No, but if you convert to the reformed pagan faith, you can schism off your own branch as normal. I never knew that I wanted this, but I now kind of want that. Can you choose the icon and name? Yes. Can you name the reformed pagan faith? Yes. Can the tenets be changed through religious council dynamically? The codebase can support this, but will not be any in-game content for this on release. We plan on adding events and mechanics around this in the future. Lovely. Fantastic. Is the human sacrifice going to be something pagan faiths start with, looking at the Norse, or are they going to have to reform into it? 2 pagan faiths start with human sacrifice. You guessed one of them. I wonder what the other one is. Maybe Suamanesco? Not sure. Will female-dominated enatic faiths have the AI focus on matrilineal marriage properly this time around, or even restrict marriage to matrilineal only? In CK2, they did not change marriage tendencies after reforming enatic. Female rulers should always try and arrange matrilineal marriages. This is especially true in female preference succession realms. Good. What in-game text will be customizable? For example, your screenshot shows we can choose the name of the new faith, but can we choose what the head of religion is called? Oh, that'd be cool if you could change the head of the religion's name. Just name, adjective, and adherent name. The rest will be inherited from your parent faith. So if you would, I guess that means you would have a pope? That's a little disappointing, actually. Mods can make more extensive changes, though, so that's cool. With 50 plus localizations fields per faith, we do not want to expose them all for direct player modification. Yeah, I suppose that's true. But I guess head of religion might want to have something, so you won't have the Pope of the Catholics and the Pope of the that you've just made yourself. I mean, okay. Is the bonus given to all Vitalists for controlling the holy site of Huma? I have a feeling I should know who this is. Due to tenet of Vitalism, or do all faiths have unique bonuses to their adherents? Yeah, there's... For owning holy sites, you get different bonuses. We learned that last week. Is it not possible to make it so that county of origin replaces one of them? It'd be possible, it's just not currently set up the way for balance reasons. Mods could enable that functionality if you desired, though, and I do. How do vassals determine if they want to convert with you? It's based on opinion, difference in learning score, and their current faith's fervor. You mentioned that if you don't manage to get a foothold, the faith may die out. If all followers of a faith die and all counties of that faith are converted away, the faith will become a dead faith. Dead faiths are much, much more difficult for characters to convert to. But I'm still going to do it, because Hellenism must rise again. Since only your character and their close family are guaranteed to convert to a new faith, the time immediately after the Reformation is when your faith will be most vulnerable to this. What are the upsides, downsides of different types of religious head options, temporal versus pope-like? In CK2, I always felt temporal was better. The main power that temporal heads of faith will have, without tenets giving them more, is to direct great holy wars. Spiritual heads have other benefits, such as the ability to bestow gold and title claims upon pious followers. Yeah, but as a... I think, as a player, like, this is more useful than this. I don't want to bestow gold and title claims on my followers. I want them myself, if that makes sense. Hard-coded game over, or can it be changed through mods? Only feudal clan and tribal governments are playable. Spiritual heads are locked into theocracy government, which is not playable. I guess that's what he's talking about, is can he play as a spiritual head? Mods can make theocracies playable in the sense you could launch the game and start playing as one, but you soon run into a myriad of issues, such as game overing every time your ruler dies, due to the fact you're breaking the game's internal rule set and trying to make it do things it was never intended to do. Yeah, the dynasty system and, inheriting titles really breaks that kind of play, unfortunately. For the tenets like Dharmic pacifism and Christian syncretism, they specify Theravada and Christian specifically. Is this hard-coded, or it would be based on your religion? Like Christian syncretism be used by a Hindu, give better religions with Dharmic religions. I don't know why it would, but anyway, let's read. The bonus opinion from virtues applies to all faiths who consider that trait to be a virtue. For example, since both Zoroastrianism and Islam consider just to be a virtue, if you're playing as a just character, both Zoroastrians and Muslims will gain a +10 opinion with you. That's good, regardless of what your religion is. For Christian syncretism, the mutual opinion bonus is specific only to Christians, though the opinion bonus for being compassionate will apply to any faith that has compassion as a virtue, including faiths like Hinduism and Jainism. Will the AI reform pagan faiths? Yes, but they will not modify their faith's tenets and doctrines. The only thing they'll do is remove the unreformed doctrine and create a head of faith. Maybe it's a question for the heresy dev diary, but will reformed pagan faiths have any heresies the AI can adopt? Reformed paganism can occasionally have heresy outbreaks of old paganism. Additional custom heresies do not currently exist, but could potentially be modded in. And can multiple faiths have the same set of tenets, and how those faiths treat each other? You cannot form a faith that has identical tenets and doctrines to an already existing one. Okay, that's good to know. The base faith that the custom faith is splitting from in this picture has close kin to poo. Alright, we'll go up to the picture in a sec. Will it be possible for you to change your faith but remain loyal to the previous religious head? No, but something they want to expand upon. You can directly decide how your new religious followers are called. Yes, you can. That is going to have some pretty funny things. Cannibalists. Just as a suggestion for someone. Yeah. The sexy followers. Oh, the sexy faithful. I love it. One question about the customization I haven't seen asked is whether we can edit the god list equivalent. Whether you could, say, swap out one high god for another, or add another deity to a list of deities that pop up in random events. As a player, you'll not have the ability to directly edit the god list, though mods have the ability to change or add them when editing faiths, of course. Is the prophet lifestyle trait still being hidden for future dev diary? Prophet perk reduces the piety cost of creating a new faith or reforming a pagan faith by 50%. That's kind of boring for, a prophet. Oh, he's double posted. Okay, well, that's all of the dev comments then. What do you think? I really, really quite like this. Especially the UI is just gorgeous. It's so clean and just lovely. It's interesting though. I feel like it's weird that... I mean, it makes sense that the AI can't do it, right? That makes complete sense because you can create some absolutely batshit things. I think the only thing that I would say that I'm a little iffy on is the costs for certain things. Like if you're splitting away from Catholicism, as I said before, but you just want to change one or two things, I mean, you're becoming a heresy and it shouldn't be too expensive. You're not convincing your followers that there's a new religion. You're convincing them that, look, the Pope's wrong and maybe monogamous marriages are not actually what God wants. Maybe that kind of thing, and it shouldn't be as difficult as saying, oh yeah, by the way, we think fucking cannibalism is the tits. Like, if you have almost exactly what you've got before, it shouldn't be as expensive. Of course, this should be expensive because, I mean, you're now saying that cannibalism is a virtue, so of course that should be pretty expensive. But otherwise, I don't know. I think maybe the costs could have a modifier based on how close they are. But other than that, yeah, I do like it. I think it's a decent system and something that I'll play with maybe once. And otherwise, the reforming the faith I'll play with a lot of times because I do like playing as pagans. If I'm a Christian, I generally just stick with Christianity. It depends on how well I'll be able to convert the rest of my court. I personally don't find building these crazy religions, it's not my kind of thing, but I know some people are going to have an absolute ball with it, so more power to those people. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts. But I would love to know what you guys think, so please do leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to keep up to date on all Crusader Kings 3 news and updates, hit the subscribe button, like the video if you want to, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.